Good morning. My first Instagram video, and my name is Faith, and I'm 53 years old, and I've been struggling with my weight since I was about 18 when I had my first child. I am 5'8", and I weigh 300 pounds, just about evenly. I never had a weight problem until I first got pregnant when I was 18. And up until that point, I was always, tall, 5'8", and slender. And so when I had my first child, I gained 35 pounds, and that's pretty normal for a pregnancy. But afterwards, it was like I didn't know how to take the weight off. I'd never been on a diet before, and I immediately, first thing I did was I went to this weight loss clinic, and this was like in 1983. And they said, "Oh, well, we can help you lose that weight. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna charge you $1,000 and put you on a 500 calorie a day diet." And I remember leaving the office thinking, well, I could starve myself, and save $1,000. And that's exactly what I did, and that's when my weight loss trouble began. And now that I think about it, 30, 40 years later, that's when my weight problem began, was when I started dieting. It's been a vicious cycle ever since. And then, of course, I had 3 more children, gained 35 pounds with each child, and kept dieting and losing, gaining, losing, gaining, and here I am. And, of course, my children are all grown now, and I'm still carrying the weight from those pregnancies. And I have dieted and lost and gained and lost and gained. And anyway, the reason I'm starting this video now is because I am now at the age of 53. I have started the bariatric surgery process. So right now my videos will be few and far between, but as I get closer to the surgery process, I will increase them so that we can, hopefully I can document this for somebody else who's considering going through this. Now, I am on disability. I've had chronic lower back pain for a long time due to my weight. And in my 40s, I had both knees replaced due to my weight. And I have acid reflux. My blood sugar is slowly increasing. I'm not type 2 diabetic, but I'm obviously heading in that way. I'm on Lipitor for high triglycerides, high cholesterol. So obviously I'm heading in the wrong direction here. My mother, she had her first heart attack at the age of 33. Her father, my grandfather, died at 35 from a massive heart attack. My mother's had weight issues all her life. My father, he's as skinny as a rail. I don't know why I didn't inherit his genes, but no, I had to get the fat genes. But I did inherit his height. I mean, that's good. I'm 5'8". I could be like my mother and just be barely 5 feet tall. My dad's 6'3", so thankfully I got his height. That's a good thing. So anyway, I got my, it's probably all backwards. but it's the Mercy Bariatric Surgery Patient Guidebook. I have already filled out my packet, got my primary care physician's letter of recommendation for surgery. I've sent it in, and I'm just now waiting for my first appointment, which could be, in the next 30 days, to go in and, get the ball rolling, see the surgeon. And from what I understand, they'll, call the insurance, make sure it's covered. I've already called the insurance. It is covered, but I'm not sure what all the criteria that I'll have to meet. Obviously, my BMI is 46. Bad deal. So I don't have to have any comorbidities. That would be things like insurance. If your insurance covers it, usually if your BMI is 35 or above, between 35 and 39.9, they will cover weight loss surgery if you have a BMI of 35 to 35.9 and you have a comorbidity like sleep apnea or diabetes or, something to go along with it. Or if you're a 40 or above, that's all you need. Well, I am obviously 46, so I don't need any comorbidities, but I do have them. So that's actually a plus as far as getting approved by the insurance. You have to be a non-smoker, which I am a non-smoker. Excuse me. They will test your blood during the process and just prior to surgery for nicotine. You have to be 4 months smoke-free in order to get the surgery. And like I said, they will test your blood for drugs and for nicotine. Now, I've never been a smoker. I'm not even exposed to secondhand smoke. So that's not an issue. I'll see, I'll have to have a psychological evaluation. That's mandatory. It could take anywhere from 3 to 6 months or even up to a year to get approved for surgery with all the steps and processes. The first thing you do is you have to take a seminar, but you can do that online in most cases, and I've already done that. So I've done the first step, taken the online seminar. I've done the second step. I filled out my packet. They require a complete history, all the medications you take, and copies of your insurance card. I've done all that, and they require a letter of recommendation from your primary care provider. And I filled that out, got him to sign it, sent all that in. They've got it, and now I'm just waiting that 30-day period for them to process it all and then call me for my first consultation with a surgeon. And then after that, they'll schedule a nutritional consult, a psychological evaluation, and, and we'll go from there. So, it, like I said, it could take 3 to 6 months. And it's almost 7:30 in the morning, which is why I look as bad as I do. But I just wanted to do this video as a starting point to kind of go through the entire process, not just start out on surgery day. I wanted to maybe help somebody who's thinking of going through the process. There's different types of surgeries. There's a lap band. There's something called a duodenal switch. I'm not too informed on that. There's a gastric sleeve, and there's the gastric bypass. Now, the gastric bypass is the gold standard. It's called the Roux-en-Y. And then there's the gastric sleeve. Okay, the gastric sleeve, all that does is just reduces the size of your stomach. It doesn't bypass anything. So Now, from what I understand, if you just do the gastric sleeve and you already have GERD or acid reflux, that could be made worse by just doing the gastric sleeve. And if you don't have GERD or acid reflux and you do the gastric sleeve, you could possibly get it. Plus, if you do the gastric sleeve, it doesn't reduce the amount of calories you absorb. Whatever you eat, you absorb. The gastric bypass, not only does it create a smaller pouch for your stomach, it reduces the amount of calories that you absorb from what you do eat. I think for my age and the amount of weight I need to lose, I am definitely going with the gold standard, the gastric bypass. I don't have all the information on all of them. I don't want to go with the lap band. I don't want something in my stomach for the rest of my life. I definitely want to go with something that is going to not only reduce the size of my stomach, but reduce the amount of calories that I absorb. And I don't want to increase my chances of my acid reflux getting worse. That's just what I'm going to go with. I'm almost positive. And also there's a couple of states, and I know I'm in Missouri, and Missouri is one of them. Medicare no longer covers the gastric sleeve in the state of Missouri, and there's one other state that they don't, and I can't remember which one it is. Now, I don't exactly have Medicare. I mean, I do have Medicare, but I have a Medicare Advantage plan, and my Medicare Advantage plan is United Healthcare. And they do, by the way, cover gastric bypass. In fact, you may want to check into this because, to the best of my knowledge, if you have a Medicare Advantage plan, they are required to comply with Medicare guidelines. In other words, if Medicare covers it, they're supposed to cover it. They're not supposed to not cover anything Medicare does cover. So I plan on, and that's my plan at this point, is go with the gastric bypass. And what they do in the gastric bypass is they actually staple off the stomach and create a smaller stomach pouch. And the rest of the stomach remains in your body, but it remains empty for the rest of your life. And the part they staple off, it forms scar tissue, and it's sealed off. But it still produces gastric juices, and it still has blood vessels, and it still functions. It still functions. And it still delivers gastric juices down on the line to your intestines, which will aid in digestion. But it won't actually digest food in the stomach, in the remnant stomach. It'll be known as the remnant stomach because it'll never digest food in the stomach again. So, anyway. We can get into that later on when I have more information. And from what I've got on my packet here, let's see. I'll have a dietary consult, an exercise rehab consult, and everyone can exercise. All patients are required to be tobacco-free for at least 4 months. Well, we've already gone over that. So, like I said, I just wanted to start out so I could start this process from the very beginning. From the very beginning. Just from the very start, from the day that what I did was I went online, and I know that my insurance requires me to stay within the Mercy health system. We have two major health systems in my community, Cox Health and Mercy Health, and my insurance works within the Mercy health system. So I searched bariatric within my health system, which was Mercy. And so I found the bariatric health system within my Mercy health system, and I took their online seminar, and when I did, I gave them my address. I was able to fill that out online. They sent me the packet in the mail. I then filled that out, and what I did was, rather than wait until my next doctor's appointment, I sent my doctor the form through the mail and asked him to fill it out and send it back to me, which he did. And I included it in my packet. Then I sent my packet to Mercy Bariatric, and now it's just a waiting game. They acknowledged receipt of it, and they said within 30 days I'll get a phone call scheduling my first appointment. And that's it. So I'm at the very beginning of my process, and when I get my first appointment, I will post another video after I have my appointment. And like I said, that may be a month from now. So you're never too old to change.